All right, let's be honest here. You don't have any excuse for building a web app or honestly any kind of service or web software that's slow. Why? Because online pizza delivery works just fine. Hi, I'm Francois Ward. I'm a software engineering manager. I focus mostly on front end technologies as well as on platform for developer productivity. If you're wondering what the hell pizza delivery has to do with performance, well, you're going to have to keep watching. All right. So you've probably experienced it. For sure you did. This is something I see all the time. Companies, teams that are building apps and services that are, well, they're slow. It might be famous web services, web applications that you're using all the time. It might be those bloated corporate internal applications. And it can be like services and APIs that you rely on. I'm not going to shame anyone here. That's not the point of it. But if you're doing this, you know who you are. Honestly, that's kind of most teams. Now, the point that I want to make here is not about who's building slow applications or slow websites. It's really about the reasons that they give as to why that is. You've heard them before. Oh, we have so much legacy code and we can't make it any faster. Nobody understands how it works. Oh, we need 30 megabytes of JavaScript to render our applications. Others can be, oh, the APIs that the backend developers build are super slow and I have no control over them, so the website is going to be slow. Or one of my favorite is we rely on a third-party API. Maybe we're using like the Google Calendar API or something, and it's slow. And well, it's Google. We don't have any control on it. There's nothing we can do about it. Okay, let's just talk about this. Like, if the reason that your application is slow is because of the code being bad, there you have an organizational problem. Maybe performance is not seen as a feature and other things have been prioritized, but that is actionable. It's an organizational problem and you need to work on that. In the same way, if your application or your service are bloated because they have too many features or they need to do too many things, then you have a product or UX issue. And that is also actionable. The team, your company, has to agree that being slow is unacceptable and make that kind of part of the product design process. You have a lot of options there, right? Like you can do code splitting, lazily loading your features. It could be, again, a product or design issue. Maybe the screens have to be redesigned so that they don't pull as much data or try to do as many things all at once. But it's not intrinsically a technology issue. Like if you're taking the designs or the feature requests from a product manager, from a designer, and implementing them as is without pushing back when something will just not work at a technical level, well, your solution here is pretty straightforward. You have to come back and push back or explain why these designs will not work. But this isn't what I want to talk about. Let's talk about the other points that I mentioned, because these were like obviously under the control of certain people. But the others, when there's slow services, slow APIs, and you're a front-end developer, or maybe you're a back-end developer who depends on those other APIs. Well, and it could be even worse if that API or that data source is owned by another company altogether. You might just feel like you have nothing to do and that you'll just have to accept that your side, your service, your app is going to be slow. Well, this is where the pizza comes in. All right, let's look at Domino's website. Yeah, I actually like Domino's Pizza, so sue me. So let's look at their website here. All right, cool. I have a free pizza, that's nice. So now I'm ordering my pizza. I'm going to the website. Domino's website is okay. It's not the best one. It could be worse. So I'm going to go, I'm going to continue to check out, and now I'm going to place my order. Okay, this isn't particularly fast, but okay, boom, the page just refreshed, and now I have an order status. My order has been confirmed. But here's the deal. The pizza, it's not there. I didn't receive it. I clicked a button to complete a process. The process is not complete yet, but the page did refresh. Why didn't that page take 15 minutes or whatever long it's going to take to deliver my pizza, and yet it was able to refresh so much faster? Well, that should be obvious, right? They don't need the pizza to be delivered to refresh the page. And this is the point I want to try and make. There is a slow process here that I don't have, that the people who made the website don't have control over. Obviously, the software engineers here are not the same people as the ones who are delivering the pizza. But boom, the page still loaded. So what is this sorcery? How did they do that? How could they load a page without the process being completed? Well, at this point, it's obvious, right? Is they built a UX with the expectation that the underlying task, the underlying work that's being done, that's being requested by the user, is going to be slow. So they load the page long before the pizza is delivered. And then they're going to give me status updates or information about the data, well, in this case, the pizza, that I've requested. This is the same train of thought that you should go through when you're dealing with external dependencies to your system that are slow. How can I design a UX around it so that I can best serve my user, my customer? Now, if we keep looking at that website, not only are they refreshing the page and just telling me, yes, your order has been submitted, you will get it in a moment, in a couple of minutes, but they're also going one extra step. There is some UX work that's been done here to show me the progress. Like, when I order food, there's a certain anxiety. Where is my food? How long will it take? Did they forget about me? Did they already deliver it and deliver it to the neighbor? So here there is a UX to show me that process. They're managing my expectations here. So again, they've designed this website around this slow process. So basically, it's just about proper UX and setting expectations and giving back the information you do have as quickly as possible. And then the long process can take as long as it needs to take. So you can do this with anything else. You have a slow SQL query? Do it asynchronously and notify the user when it's ready. Give them a report later. You have expensive third-party data that you need to display? Well, maybe it's okay if it's not in real time and it can be eventually consistent. So you could have a batch process that fetches the data when the user is not there at all and fill up a database table with it. And then when the users come in, they get the data from that intermediate database table instead of doing the third-party API call. Or what about when you have a data table on your page and you need to show the amount of page at the bottom? With certain data source, doing the row count can be very complex, not with the relational database, but other type of data that can be really slow. But who uses that? Just don't put it there and just have a forward-backward paging mechanism. Then you don't need to get that data. You don't need to know how many rows you have. Maybe your designer, your product manager, gave you a mock-up and it had that paginator at the bottom. Just explain to them that it will have a significant performance hit and that you recommend doing it a different way that fits better what the data sources are. What if you have a page that really needs to have a ton of information and would be really slow to load everything, but some parts of it come back really quickly and it's what the user is most likely to interact with? Well, load that first and lazily load everything else later. And yeah, like we're in the world of single page applications where sometimes people think it's really cool to have like one page where you can do everything and everything is loaded really quickly, really early. But if you split your application in multiple pages and each of these pages are really, really, really freaking fast, your users are not going to mind clicking around. The same thing can be said of APIs. Maybe you have a payload and one of the field is slow, but the rest is really quick. What about just returning the fast stuff and requiring a second API call to get the slow part? Or if you're using GraphQL, you could return the data asynchronously. So basically, what I'm trying to get through is that a lot of these problems are not inherently tech problem. They're application, service, or API design issues a lot of the time. You can change the design. It's not immutable, and you can make your pages, your services fast, instant, and work around the slow parts with some clever tricks. Have a dialogue with your team, with your designers, with your product managers. Explain to them the limitations of the systems and the impact it's going to have. Teach your team how to design performant applications. And if you have trouble justifying the time and effort that it's going to do, well, you can link it to money. So maybe you have NPS surveys, you correlate them with the page load the user who submitted the survey experienced, the page load time, and then you can associate the low NPS customers with a conversion rate. And if you do all of that, you can bring it down to money, and you can put money numbers on performance. Personally, I have no time or patience for slow applications, so I'll just go and use your customer's website, and I will give them my money instead. All right, this was more a rant than information sharing, but hopefully this makes you think. Next time you look at a slow app as a slow service, sit down and think. Like, don't just try to optimize the code doing the same thing but faster. Consider how you can do things completely differently to give a performant and a better user experience. Think about how you'd handle it if your external dependencies were pizza delivery. And on that note, that's it for today. I'll see you on the next one.